A continuación, nos complace presentarles al licenciado Felipe Faria, director general de Green Building Council de Brasil, responsable de la operación internacional en Brasil, que abarca la educación, capacitación de profesionales en diferentes áreas, la información, recopilación y difusión de las mejores prácticas, tecnologías, materiales y casos de éxito, relación de gobierno, rendimiento proactivo en asociación con el gobierno para desarrollar incentivos, políticas públicas para apoyar el movimiento de la edificación verde y la promoción de la certificación LEED, herramienta de certificación para edificios sostenibles, el cual nos presentará el éxito de Brasil Green Building Council, acelerando la transformación del mercado hacia la sostenibilidad. Un aplauso.
First of all, in the name of Brazil Green Building Council, I would like to thank Panama GBC for the invitation. It's a huge honor for us to be here and share what we have been done in Brazil regarding the development of the sustainable construction market in our country. I'm sorry, I will speak in English. If I try to speak in Spanish, I think I will mix Spanish with Portuguese with Italy, so it's better to make it in English. Then I think everybody will better understand me. I just would like to make a short introduction about the Brazil GBC. It was created in 2007, so we start our operation in June of 2007. Nowadays, we have around 700 companies as members supporting our activities. In terms of missions and visions, we share the same missions that all the GBCs around the world. Nowadays, we are 97 GBCs in 97 different countries. And the mission is like to influence the national's construction industry sector transformation towards sustainability. And in Brazil, we are focused our activities in 4 big areas. One of our priorities is education. So the idea is to qualify and make the training of professionals from different expertises. And for that, we created in 2008 our national education program, where we are offering courses and seminars about sustainable construction. We have MBA courses in partnership with universities about sustainable construction. And since 2008, we have already received the participation of more than 45,000 professionals in our national education program. We also are working in information, so the idea is to make the compilation and disseminations of the best practice, the new technologies, the divulgations of case of success of sustainable construction. And for that, our members, the company that are our members, support us with content, with their new new technologies. So, and we also use the powerful networking that we have with different GBCs around the world to help us to disseminate information, to disseminate what is news in terms of sustainable construction technologies and practice. And then we have a very important area that is government relationships. So here the idea is to implement a proactive performance with government trying to influence them to create special public policies to support the green building movement. I mean, like mandatory law or tax incentives, finance incentives, administrative incentives. And today I will share in the next slide some of the examples of public policy in Brazil supporting the green building movement. And the other area is the promotion of an international certification. We are promoting in Brazil the LEED international certification. And to show you the growth of the sustainable construction market in Brazil, I will give you some example and I will tell you some achievements regarding the 2 areas, the government relationship and the certification. And why it's important in Brazil to deal with sustainability in the construction industry. This is the numbers of the impact, environment impact from the construction industry in Brazil. We are responsible to consume 21% of the potable water. We generate around 20% of the CO2 emissions in the country. So globally, the number is like 40%, the CO2 emissions. In Brazil, it's not so high because our energy grid is hydroelectric, so it's cleaner comparing with the other energy grid. The buildings in Brazil, we are responsible for consume 44% of the total electricity produced in our country. So the buildings consume 44% of the total of electricity, and the main reason of that is because our buildings are very inefficient. And we generate 65% of the total waste. And we can easily reduce those impacts with not so high investment. We don't need high investments to reduce, to have a considerable reduction in those impacts. And we can easily reduce this impact. This graph, it's a study comparing 100 buildings certified with 100 buildings that have been built in the same time, same type of building, but they didn't have the same concerns regarding efficiency in the use of low environmental impact solutions. And this is the performance that the certified building shows, like 30% of reduction in energy, around 35% of reduction CO2, 30 to 50% reduction in water, and 50 to 60% of reduction of the waste. So we can easily reduce, and we don't need high investments to do that. So one of the ways that we use to quantify the sustainable construction growth in Brazil is analyzing how the LEED international certification have been adopted by the private sector and now in some case by the public sector. I don't know if everybody are familiar with LEED certification, but I would like to ask you to, when I mention LEED certified project or a project registered in LEED, pursuing LEED certification, imagine a project similar that Ramiro presented previously, or imagine a building that have a lot of concerns regarding energy efficiency, water efficiency, the location, what's the relationship of the location of that building with its surroundings, indoor air quality. So imagine buildings that are considering practice to mitigate the climate change effects or to provide healthier space to its users. So imagine this kind of building. So LEED, international certification, they certify buildings in 143 different countries around the world. And nowadays, Brazil is the 4th country with in this international world ranking, is the 4th country with the biggest number of LEED registered projects. This is the graph that show an exponential growth since 2007 of LEED certification in Brazil. We have more than 30 million square meters under certification. And those projects are distributed in different parts of the country. The concentration is south and southeast because it's the powerful economic area. But we have projects in different parts of the country. And it's different types of buildings. We have a lot of commercial buildings, but we also have museums, residential buildings, industry plants. We have a lot of logistic plants, center of logistic and distribution. We have hotels, we have restaurants, supermarkets, public buildings, stadiums. So we have different types of buildings. And this is the examples of the new museums under construction in the city of Rio de Janeiro. This is a very interesting project. If you take a look, the roof, the building, the design, it was inspired in a flower that called dormideira. This flower, when you try to touch, the flower closes. So this is the idea of the roof. It closes, but who touched the roof is the sun. So according to the sun position, the roof moves. It's to create special shadows to improve the energy performance of the building, as well as to maximize the absorption of the sun energy, because in the roof there are a lot of photovoltaic panels to produce energy. So we have very interesting projects. A lot of commercial buildings and restaurants. In terms of commercial buildings AAA, I can honestly say that it became demand of market. Almost all new commercial buildings under construction in the main cities of Brazil, they are registered in a certification, they are pursuing certification. We have a very important builders, like W Torre is a very important builder in Brazil. They decide to certify all their new commercial projects in Brazil. The Tishman Speyer, they are investors. I don't know if Tishman Speyer have business in Panama, probably they have. They have a lot of business in Brazil, and they are investing only in buildings with certification. Odebrecht, who is the giant builder in Brazil, recently, 1 month ago, in an important event in São Paulo, the Odebrecht responsible for investments in this segment, they mentioned that 50% of their new projects will be with certification. We have Coca-Cola. The Coca-Cola in Brazil, they have a project of certify all their existing industry plants. In Brazil, they have 23 huge industry plants, and they will certify until 2020 all their existing plant in the LEED existing building, operation and maintaining certification. Starbucks, they will certify all their new restaurants in Brazil. They have a very aggressive plan to open 46 new restaurants in Brazil. And here the supermarket, the Pão de Açúcar is a very important supermarket chain in Brazil. They are certifying all their new supermarket, and 2 months ago I had a meeting with the manager of sustainability of Pão de Açúcar, and she mentioned that recently she done a research with the clients of one of its certified supermarket store. And she observed that the clients, they are increasing their loyalty with this specific store because they are motivated with the sustainable construction practice that the supermarket incorporated in this store. And in an intelligent way, they communicate to its users what means a certified building, and they communicate to the users the energy efficiency solutions, water efficiency, and how they are decreasing its impacts and how they are give benefits for the environment and for the society. So we have a very interesting, successful case in Brazil to share. This is a study from Cushman and Wakefield. Cushman and Wakefield, they are a consultant firm for the real estate, and they mentioned that for 2013, 50% of the new commercial office that will be launched in 2013 will be commercial office with certification. And it's not about, and for this segment, it's not about the reduction of the operation costs, reduction of the environment cost, but one of the reasons for that, and probably we will see in the presentation of Bill, it's that it's increasing the value, can increase the value of the property. It can accelerate the sales, so they accelerate the occupancy. They can keep the occupancy. And so it's reduction, they are reducing the risk of the investment. So it's one of the reasons to be convinced that green building is not a trend anymore. It's like a demand of market. But even though we have a lot of things to do, so it doesn't represent like 5% of the total volume of construction in the country. So we have a lot of things to do, and to start to enter in the huge volume of construction in the market, we strongly need the support of the government. And I may say that we have a lot of good examples of public policy from the government, and I will share some of them. In terms of government, we have a lot of public buildings pursuing the certification. Brazil is a very market driver country, but the government are also showing good example in their installations. So we have a lot of public buildings pursuing the LEED certification. We have some public schools. We have the headquarters of some city halls. We have all the buildings, all the new buildings from Petrobras, the oil company. They need to be certified. We have the legal environment court in Brasilia. This is a very interesting project from Petrobras. It's the new center of research of Petrobras. It's a project from the architect, the Professor Zanettini. And to define the project, the Professor Zanettini, he joined more than 200 professionals of different expertise to study how they could maximize the use of natural ventilation, the use of the natural lighting to define the project. So it's an amazing project from Professor Zanettini, project from Petrobras. And in terms of regulations, the federal government, they are working regarding our climate change national policy. The federal government, they are working on a project that they call Sustainable Public Purchase Program. And there is a number that's 17% of everything that moves the Brazilian economy is public purchase in any way. And so the idea is to show a good example for the society through the public purchase. And then talking about construction industry and related with this program, this is a federal regulation from the Ministry of Planning that regulate the use of sustainable criteria for public product procurement and construction contracts. Now, the public authority responsible for writing the bidding criteria needed to consider green building practice described in that regulation. So need to maximize the use of natural ventilations, automations of the lighting system, the use of efficient lamps, reused water, rainwater harvesting, need to consider to give priority for the local workforce or the local suppliers. So a lot of green building practice described in this regulation need to be considered in the bidding criteria of public buildings. And related with this initiative, last year, the President of Brazil, she published a decree that rule our federal law of public procurement. And in this decree, the President, she made clear that sustainability must be one of the main principles to guide the public procurement biddings. And she mentioned in that decree that the bidding must oblige goods with recycled content, non-tox, biodegradable, and other sustainable criteria. And the design project must be developed in order to provide operational and maintaining savings, energy efficiency, water efficiency. And they are also considering, they are allowed to consider certifications in the bidding process as a guideline and compliance tool to help the public authority in order to guarantee to the public administration efficient and low environment impact product design or project. So it's a huge advance. The government are making clear that when we talk about bidding process, we need to find the best option, the most advantage option for the public administration. But the government are making clear that the best option doesn't mean the lowest cost of construction. So we cannot misunderstand the cost of construction with the cost of the building. So we need to consider in a bidding process, not the cost of construction, but the cost of the building. And the cost of the building must be analyzed according to the cost of that building in your cycle of life. So we need to consider operation and maintenance to define what's the best option for the public administration. And now, we believe that our activities with the support of our members have direct or indirect influence in those public policy, in those advances. In 2008, after some good initiatives with the Rio de Janeiro City Hall, we received the invitation to participate, to collaborate with the Rio de Janeiro Olympic Candidature Committee in the elaborations of the sustainable criteria that will guide the construction and the retrofit of all installations responsible for hosting the Olympic Games. And then the Candidature Committee, they highlighted the sustainable criteria in the official document that they sent to the International Committee. And they also mentioned the LEED certification as one of the compliance tools to guarantee that they will really follow those criteria. And what we have now, in terms of Olympic Games, this is they call Parque dos Atletas. It's where the sport venues, most of the sport venues will be installed in that area. So all the permanent installation, so the non-temporary installation, the permanent installation, the installation that will be the legacy for the population, all the permanent need to be certified. So in the bidding process, the City Hall, they mentioned that the certification is mandatory. So we already have, this is the center of trainment, where a lot of sports will be disputing that building, that complex, the velodrome, and the arenas, the tennis court arenas. So all of them are registered pursuing the certification. And we also, and then in the end of 2009, for our surprise, the World Cup Committee, they also started to announce that they were strongly recommending certification for the World Cup stadiums. And then the Brazilian Bank for Development, the BNDES, they created a special finance line for the stadiums, where they offer a low interest rate, a long-term payment, but they make mandatory the certification. And then the builders that won the biddings, they decide that the LEED certification could be a better option for the stadiums. And then we have almost all stadiums for the World Cup registered in LEED. It will be 12 stadiums that will host the World Cup games. And we also have 2 additional stadiums that passed through a big reform. They are not stadiums for the World Cup, but they are very important stadiums in Brazil. the stadium of Palmeiras in São Paulo and the stadium of Grêmio in Porto Alegre city, and they are also pursuing, they are registered and they are also pursuing the elite certification. And in terms of World Cup, we already have good examples, good results, very interesting achievements that we can share regarding green building practice. Most of the stadium, they pass it through a demolition process. And I can honestly say that at least 90% of the total waste generated by the demolition process, it was treated and reused. Sometimes it was treated in loco and reused automatically in the construction site. There are stadiums like the Stadium of Brasilia. They are investing in photovoltaic panels. They will generate, in Brasilia, they will generate 2.5 megawatts of energy. Too much energy. More energy that they need annually. And the system will be automatically connected with the public grid. How many times? 10 minutes? And the grid, the system will be automatically connected in the public grid, and it will give renewable energy for the city. In Belo Horizonte, they will generate 1.6 megawatts of energy. In Belo Horizonte, they will store like 6 million of rainwater. They will storage 6 million of rainwater per year to use it to irrigate the football field, to irrigate the garden, to clean the stadium, to use in the toilets. The Stadium of Fortaleza, they are working with, they think they will probably reduce 60% of the water consumption with the technology that they are implementing in the stadium. In Fortaleza, they also, for example, one of the credits, one of the practices that is stimulated by the certification is to strongly consider regional suppliers. In Fortaleza, they had a lot of difficulty to find suppliers that can offer them low VOC paints. And then in the beginning, they used to buy from São Paulo, from south and southeast of Brazil. But at the same time, the stadium team, they help to develop the local suppliers. And then in the middle of the construction, or in the end, they start to buy from the local suppliers. So they help to develop the local economy. So we have very good examples even in terms of the design, to define the design of the stadiums. Here in Brasilia, they made a bioclimatic study to define the facade. So you can see that the facade, it makes special shadows inside the internal areas. So the idea is to use less air conditioning to make comfortable the internal space. But our main idea with the sports events is to figure out how we can how we can use the huge visibility that we have in terms of World Cup and Olympic Games. How can we use the huge visibility to spread the word, to disseminate the benefits of the sustainable construction, to disseminate the technologies that can be easily considered by the population in general. So this is our idea with the World Cup Olympic Games, to use its huge visibility. Then we will be able to start to enter in the big volume of the construction activity in the country. And those examples also help to influence the public policies. This is an example of tax incentives that I can say that it have been adopted in several municipalities in Brazil. It's the possibility to reduce the property tax. This is an example of the city of Guarulhos, in a city near to the city of São Paulo, where you can reduce until 20% of your property tax during 5 years when you start to consider in your home or in your office 2 or more of the green building practice described in the law. So in Guarulhos, they mentioned rainwater storage, treatment and water reuse, heat solar panels for the water, install a green roof in your home. So it's very important to stimulate the green building movement in the residential sector. And this is a very aggressive tax incentives in Rio de Janeiro. The incentives is under approval by the Chamber of Deputies of Rio de Janeiro. This is a very interesting project. By a decree, the mayor, he created a classification of green buildings, and according to the City Hall, what means a green building in Rio de Janeiro. So by a decree, the mayor, he established, it's like the LEED certification. If you install, it gives you points when you start to install the green building practice described in this decree. So you need to consider a certain number of practices to be classified as a Quali Verde building, or if you consider a lot of practice, you will be classified as a Quali Verde total building. And then under approval in the Chamber of Deputies, there is a project of bill that are trying to offer tax incentives for the buildings that receive the classification Quali Verde or Quali Verde total. And the incentives is, in terms of property tax during the construction, if you are a Quali Verde, you will have a 50% of discount. Or if you are Quali Verde total, during the construction, you don't need to pay the property tax. After the construction and the operation of the building, if you are a Quali Verde, you will have 10% of discount. Or if you are Quali Verde total, you will receive 20% of discount. And you also have incentives, tax incentives, because when you sell a property, you need to pay a tax that is 4% of the value of the property. You need to collect a tax to the City Hall. If you are Quali Verde, you will receive 50% of discount. And if you are Quali Verde total, you don't need to pay the tax. You don't need to pay the ITBI, just in the first sale. And you also have a tax discount in terms of the tax under service. So every time that you contract a service, you need to pay the tax, 3% of the value of the contract. So if you outsource for a company to prepare the land before the construction, you need to pay 3% of this contract to the City Hall. Or if you contract someone to clean the windows of the glass of your facade, you need to pay 3% of this contract to the City Hall. So if you are Quali Verde, you will pay not 3%, but you will pay 1.5%. And if you are Quali Verde total, you will pay just 0.5%. So it's huge tax incentives. So we are trying to prepare ourselves with the huge possibility to strongly enter in the residential sector. And 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago, our technical committee, we have in Brazil, our technical committee is around 200 professionals from our members, from the companies that are supporting us. They work in our technical committee as volunteers, and they develop a reference guide for homes. And we launched this reference guide last year during our international conference. It was in September. And then in October, we start to receive pilot projects, enrollment. So people that would like to participate as a pilot project, because this year we receive in less than 1 month 25 enrollment from people that would like to participate as a pilot project. Then we choose only 9. And we are working in those 9 projects that will be our pilot project to test the economic and the technical viability of the reference guide. So we have different kind of of homes. And the idea is to finish this work in the end of the year. And the idea is to use this reference guide to strongly influence the change of local building codes. And maybe we will study the possibility to use it as a certification tool. We still need to check if there is viability to make it a certification. And why we need to strongly support the Green Building Councils, why we need to strongly support the Panama GBC. I would like to share with you the feedback that I have receiving from our members, from the private sector that are strongly support the Brazil GBC. I think one of the main feedback that we received is that our movement is strongly helping to lift the technical level of the market in general. And now we are seeing that companies that are offering products, solutions, projects that search for better energy efficiency results or low environment impact results, those companies are starting, and products and solutions, they are starting to increase their visibility and their market share in the sector. So then we are helping to support studies in innovation. So this is the main feedback that we are receiving from the private sector. So there are multinationals companies that, now I can bring to Brazil the same equipment that I sell in Europe or in USA that provide better efficiency. Or we are seeing that some products that years ago used to be exceptions, now it's like a demand of market, like double flush to wash the toilets, or pants with low VOC compounds, and etc. Service of simulations of building, commission of building, this kind of service now, companies, engineers that work with it, now it's like people fight to contract them. So we are seeing a lot of advance in this segment. There is a study, and for the government, there is a study that mentioned that for each $1 million that we invest in retrofit project, we can generate 5 new direct jobs and 5 new indirect jobs. For the government, it's easier and fast invest in energy efficiency than to invest in energy production. So even for the government, it's a very good idea, and there is a lot of reasons to strongly support. So I would like to finish with an invitation. I would like to invite everybody to visit our international conference next month, actually. It's a big event. We have like 116 speakers, 100 exhibitors. It's a place that we join everybody from the sustainable construction industry in Brazil, and we have a lot of international partners also. And to finish, I would like to share a thought, a phrase from a master, Mahatma Gandhi, who said that we must be the change that we wish to see in the world. So let's accelerate the transformation here in Panama, and Panama needs to be, it's already is a leader for Central America in terms of sustainable construction, but we need to increase its visibility, to strongly help to lead the Latin America and the rest of the world. Thank you very much.